하고 있습니다. 미국 국민이 아니어도 트럼프는 안 된다고 말합니다. 왜? 트럼프는 평화를 사랑하지 않습니다. 트럼프는 전쟁을 원합니다. 대한민국은 하나거든요. 그런데 대한민국에 자꾸만 전쟁을 일으키려고 합니다. 대한민국 국민들을 불안하게 합니다. 세계의 시민들을 불안하게 하고 있습니다. 그래서 저희는 트럼프를 탄핵하고자 합니다. 트럼프의 반대의 목소리를 높이고자 합니다. 전쟁을 반대하는 목소리를 높이고자 합니다. 평화를 원하는 목소리를 높이고자 합니다. 그래서 한국에서도 지금 이런 시위가 계속되고 있고요. 뉴욕, 워싱턴 DC, 시카고, 그 다음에 우리 여기서 LA까지 한인들이 모두 지금 한 목소리를 내고 있습니다. 거기에 이 미국에서 살고 있는 평화를 원하는, 전쟁을 반대하는 여러분들과 함께 할 수 있어서 정말 반갑고 감사합니다. 앞으로도 대한민국의 평화가 오는 날까지 저희와 함께 해주시기를 부탁드립니다. 그리고 그것이 곧 전 세계의 평화가 자리 잡는 날이 될 것입니다. 감사합니다.
They're over there protesting for war and against peace. So while we're here protesting against that, they're over there welcoming that warmongering anti-missile system into Korea, and it's quite ironic. So when the whole world wants to impeach Trump, even non-Americans, like people like Koreans came from Korea to protest Trump, not even in their own land because he's going into their land. Korea is one, but he keeps wanting more to get rid of Korea. So we are going to protest all over the country. Korea is protesting right now as Trump starts his Asian tour. And we protested in New York, DC, and Chicago, and Los Angeles. There was also taken red in San Francisco. So it's really a nationwide. Korean Americans are going against Trump's warmongering in both our countries.
Yes, peace! No war! Yes, peace! All right! Yes, peace! No war! Yes, peace! Korea is one, right? Okay. Korea is one! 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 Thank you. Right. So our first speaker today is a national statement by the IAC. Please welcome John Parker.
So I have the honor of reading the national statement. Okay, this was written November 3rd, 2017, in solidarity with the No Trump Day rallies in Korea and the Asian Pacific, and to sign the peace treaty now. Donald Trump says they will be met with fire, fury, and frankly power, the likes of which this world has never seen before. They won't be around much longer, he said. He said, I spoke with President Moon of South Korea last night, asked him how Rocket Man is doing. You know, military solutions are now fully in place, locked and loaded. Trump's words have escalated military tensions on the Korean Peninsula to a degree this world has not witnessed since the Korean War. When Trump announced his tour of Asian nations from November 3rd to the 14th, people of Japan, South Korea, China, Vietnam, and the Philippines mobilized en masse to protest Trump and American militarism in the Asian Pacific region. South Koreans are calling their nationwide rallies No Trump Day, condemning the United States' aggressive policies towards North Korea and the ongoing infringement of sovereignty in South Korea. The No Trump, No War campaign was announced by over 220 South Korean civic groups, organized by the Korean Confederation for Trade Unions at a press conference on October 27th. Tens of thousands are anticipated to participate in the estimated 140 different rallies in South Korea and abroad, especially in Seoul's Gwanghwamun Plaza, where months of mass demonstrations led to the impeachment of former President Park Geun-hye earlier this year. Koreans are using No Trump Day to demand the end of Trump's warmongering and military intimidation in recent months, withdrawal of the THAAD system in South Korea, the end of sanctions and hostile policies toward North Korea, and call for peace on the Korean Peninsula and East Asia. We must work for world peace. In addition to Koreans' demands, we, the people in the United States, oppose the Trump administration's ill-informed escalation of tensions with North Korea, call for a peace treaty between the United States and North Korea, finally end the Korean War after 64 long years, fully support peoples of these countries mobilizing to protest Trump's visit and preparing mass demonstrations around No Trump Day, and stand in solidarity with all people, Koreans, Americans, and others throughout the world, unconditionally committed to preventing a disastrous rekindling of the Korean War. Military conflict on the Korean Peninsula will inevitably result in the deaths of those not only on the Korean Peninsula, but in nearby countries who will be subject to an influx of U.S. military personnel via the web of existing U.S. military bases throughout the Asian Pacific region. In the wake of this year's mother of all bombs, so-called for being the largest non-nuclear bomb ever used in combat in human history, dropped in Afghanistan in April, the airdropping of parts for the THAAD anti-missile system due to Korean residents of Seongju protests blocking roads to installation in late April and early May, and the October 11th U.S. military helicopter crash in Okinawa less than 1,000 feet from a residence and about a mile away from Takai Elementary School. It is clear that the U.S. military presence is a threat to the safety of the peoples of the host nations they claim to protect or liberate. We must reconcile historical violence. These tragedies may have happened during the Trump administration, but it is a continuation of a legacy of U.S. militarization that disables the livelihoods of peoples all over the world since the enslavement of and genocides committed against Native peoples and Africans in the Americas in the first British North American colonies preceding the United States. We condemn the Trump administration for its perpetuation of slaughter, militarization, and infringements of sovereignty, especially hypocritical as a nation that so espouses the values of freedom and democracy. These values are not even observed in the United States. North American police, a force developed and refined as a continuation of slave patrols, are handed down equipment and technology including tanks and drones from the U.S. military to terrorize its own people. Police surveillance and crackdowns feed into a prison system wherein slavery is completely legal per the 13th Amendment of the Constitution that did not completely abolish slavery after the Civil War, and by which people of color, especially Black, Native, and Latinx Americans, are meant to serve as America's hyper-exploitable and undercompensated labor force, often disenfranchised of voting and other civilian rights well after imprisonment. If the United States stations troops in foreign countries to protect our freedom, why does their increasingly militarized police force terrorize, exploit, and slaughter communities within the United States? If we are made as enemy as foreign peoples, are foreign peoples not just as unjustly persecuted as we? For whom does this promised freedom exist? And who or what do foreign military bases actually protect? Even the South Korean rallies against Trump and war will be heavily restricted, per an announcement by South Korean police that anti-Trump rallies will be banned in Central Seoul and other places Trump will visit in Korea on November 7th and 8th. In land supposedly not under U.S. jurisdiction, the United States stifles people's freedom of speech and assembly as guaranteed under Article 21 of the Constitution of the Republic of Korea. Just as it suppresses American dissent via targeted revoking of voting rights through policing and imprisonment. We must end the Korean War. Trump's incendiary remarks and the recent unprecedented provocations by the U.S. military, such as F-35 and B-1B bombers flown to the military demarcation line on September 18th in a highly provocative move to North Korea, must end at once to prevent the crisis of the Korean Peninsula from escalating into a war of dire consequences. To this end, we demand that the Trump administration, 1, cease Trump's warmongering, military intimidation, and military-focused foreign policies. 2, abolish hostile policies such as sanctions towards North Korea and sign a peace treaty. And 3, withdraw THAAD, which threatens peace in East Asia and the world from South Korea. Thank you.
Thank you. Trump says more war, we say no more. 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 Right, we gotta say it loud so everyone on this block can hear us. Our next statement.
Why we are here? Peace of the world, right? But Trump is escalating the world and threatening the more nation. We want peace. That's why we are here. Let me share my personal story. You know, Trump banned to travel to North Korea. Yeah. That's against the Constitution, I believe. Yes. My two younger sisters still live in North Korea. And my one older sister lives in South Korea. I could, because I'm a citizen of the United States, I can travel anywhere. I could go visit North Korea, 1991. I left my hometown when I was only 9. Can you believe that? How old do you think I am?
49!
29, forever! Okay. Next 7th of this month, I'll be 76. When I left, I was only 9, 10. I'm 76 now. Up to now, Korea is still divided because of the superpower country. You know? What is super? Military power is super? Not only that, we need some kind of just and loving people. America is great because we love that kind of people. Let me preach a little bit. Okay, I'm going to read something here. 1835, Alexis Tocqueville, he wrote, and after he traveled America, and he wrote this one. I thought for the greatness and genius of America in her commodities, harbors, and her ample rivers, and it was not there. In her fertile field and boundless forest, and it was not there. In her mines and her vast world commerce, and it was not there. In her Democratic Congress, and it was not there.
boundless constitution, and it was not there. Not until I was into the churches of America and heard her aflame with righteousness. Remember, no more peace, no more Trump, and we have to say it, claim it. We want peace. Yes. Thank you.
All right, peace treaty now! 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 Peace treaty now!
Peace treaty now! Peace treaty now!
We have to remember the destruction of the Korean War, the billions of people who died. Every major city in the north was obliterated within those 3 years. And so we need a peace treaty now because we know what the fate could look like. So our next speaker is from the U.S.-Korea Japan Civic Society joint statement given by Emily Suh. Even as President Trump calls his predecessor's policy of strategic patience on North Korea a failure, he continues the same policy, that is, intensifying UN and unilateral sanctions as well as military threats. Meanwhile, North Korea continues to escalate the pace and scale of its nuclear and missile tests. The Abe government, seizing the crisis in Korea as an opportunity, quickens its pace to remilitarize Japan and revise Article 9 of its constitution. While South Korean President Moon Jae-in, despite an unanimous mandate from the South Korean people who ousted his hawkish predecessor for a radical change in North-South relations, stands by the United States in pursuing a hawkish and hostile policy towards North Korea. We therefore demand that 1. The Trump administration boldly shift policy to a policy of peace by ending its policy of sanctions and military threats against North Korea, ceasing the deployment of more weapons of mass destruction on the Korean Peninsula and the region, and withdrawing the Terminal High Altitude Area Defense Missile System, known as THAAD, from South Korea as it only exacerbates tensions in the region, and halting large-scale military exercises that impede dialogue with North Korea. We demand South Korea's Moon Jae-in administration to honor the spirit of past North-South joint declarations for peace and reconciliation by assertively pursuing inter-Korean dialogue and cooperation, halting future large-scale U.S. ROK combined military exercises to minimize the risk of confrontation ahead of the 2018 Winter Olympics in Pyeongchang, South Korea, and ending cooperation with the United States and Japan on costly weapon systems such as missile defense, which only exacerbate tensions in the region and divert precious resources away from human needs. And lastly, we demand Japan's Abe government immediately cease all efforts to become a military power and police state by abolishing the controversial conspiracy law and state secrecy law, as well as the 2015 peace and security legislation, or war bills, which permit the use of so-called the right to collective self-defense. We demand that they pursue normalization of relations between Japan and DPRK based on the principles of Pyongyang Declaration and the Stockholm Agreement, and seize moves to change Article 9, the peace clause of its constitution. Thank you. Thank you, Emily. So we're going to have a song, by the Korean Peace Alliance song by Nanam Korean Cultural Center. So we'll enjoy some music, and then go back to some chants, and go back to some statements.
박수 쳐주세요. 그리고 우리
okay.
So So this rally, as some of you know, it's in tandem with rallies that are going on in South Korea. And one of the points of the South Korean rally was a group of 15 Korean youth was supposed to tour the United States in New York, DC, and LA. But they were rejected from the country on October 25th with no explanation. They're like, ESTA was canceled at the US Embassy for no reason. And so afterwards they snuck these two in. There was actually three, but she had to go back to Korea, and we're very lucky to have them join our song today. Straight from Korea to impeach Trump.
오케이. 내가 말하면 담아서 큰 소리로 외치겠습니다. 평화협정 체결하라!
평화협정 체결하라!
This treaty now!
This treaty now!
다음은 공지 부르겠습니다. 몰아치는 것엔 바람에도 부딪혀오는 것엔 어감에도 우리는 반드시 모이었다 마주보았다. 해는 밤 고통받는 밤 살인찬 새벽 소리 나누며 사랑 너는 나의 동지 사랑하는 동안에도 우리가 먼저 죽는다 해도 그 뜻은 반드시 이루리라 승리하리라 또 감되는 날 반대는 날 내가 내일 위해 싸우며 우리 맞섰다 투쟁 영원한 투쟁 양치하를 동지여 투쟁 영원한 투쟁 너는 나의 동지
on the millions of Koreans who were killed at the hands of the U.S. military. And I remember what General LeMay said, kill them all. I am left with shame when I think about the tens of thousands of U.S. troops that still remain on your land, not this land. And I am horrified when I hear the guy who claims to be President of the United States claim that he's going to wipe a people off the face of the earth. That very threat alone is a crime against humanity. I wonder, when you see those American flags across the street, I wonder, do they really want to be part of a puppet government of the United States? I would like to ask them, do they know what one of the senators of the United States just said? When somebody said, well, if we drop nuclear bombs, it'll just be a few million, maybe 20 million South Koreans that die, not us here in the United States. Imagine that. That's a senator of the United States talking about that. The fact that anybody could have loyalty from Korea to the government of the United States, I cannot get my head around. It is a scandal. I say, Trump out of Korea. I say, U.S. troops out of Korea. I say, a peace treaty finally at long last for Korea. I say, U.S. hands off Korea completely. And I say one more thing. For the United States of America, that is the only nation in the world that has dropped a bomb, an atom bomb on people. People of color, you remember? The only nation to have done that. To have the gall to suggest that North Korea or any other nation on this earth cannot have nuclear weapons too is the height of hypocrisy. The height of hypocrisy. I don't want to see any nuclear weapons in the world, but so long as those who have North Korea in their target sites, I hope to hell they don't give up their effort to have the bomb that they have just as much right to have as we do. So, U.S. out, Korea for the Koreans, peace now, and remember, it will not happen if we leave it to Congress, if we leave it to either one of those capitalist parties. It will happen only if people like you and I continue to do over and over again in ever greater numbers what we are doing today, and that is gather in the streets and refuse to leave until we have had our voices heard. No war on Korea.
Ready for a mic drop. Congress says more war. We say no more. Congress says more war. We say no war. 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 We say take all of the military, the U.S. military bases, troops out of Korea now. So our next speaker is going to be from the Answer Coalition. Please welcome Danny Gresham.
sisters, we're here today in the largest Korean community in the United States to show our solidarity with the Korean people. Trump is baiting and egging on the reopening of the 64-year-old war that never fully ended. We the people say no! No! And that this war has gone on long enough. We demand a peace treaty be signed immediately. Trump has repeatedly called for the destruction of North Korea without even considering how many civilian lives would be lost on both sides of the DMZ. And apparently, he has forgotten his history because over 20% of the population was decimated in the Korean War. This racist, chauvinist, imperialist commentary from President Trump shows the disrespect and the mindset of infantilization that Trump has towards Korea in general. He only sees Korea as a pawn to be used in trade agreements and as a way to further access China. And of course, President Moon Jae-in needs to stay true to his promises that he made to the Korean people as well, that he will not use military force against the North. South Korea needs to take back operational control of its military forces and bases and not succumb to further occupation and troop control by the United States. Moon Jae-in also needs to stand up and stand strong against the threats and intimidation tactics used by President Trump and the U.S. military. Let us be loud and let us be clear, brothers and sisters. President Moon Jae-in and President Trump tell them that we the people do not want a new war in Korea. We will not back down and we will continue to fight for the right for self-determination and for all of Korea and fight for reunification now!
Korea is one! 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 Woo! Right! We have another song and statement. Actually, BTC. I only have an acronym here.
네. 안녕하십니까. 저는 이번에 한국에서 온 방미 트럼프 탄핵 청년 원정단 단장을 맡고 있는 김한성이라고 합니다. 반갑습니다.
I'll translate as a first person. My name is Han-sung Kim. I'm a leader of the BTC, which is a delegation group from Korea.
네, 저희 방탄 청년단은 대북 제재 반대, 트럼프 탄핵, 그리고 한반도 평화협정 체결, 트럼프 방한 반대라는 주제로 이곳 미국에 와서 활동을 하고 있습니다.
We came to the United States for several purposes. One, against President Trump in Korean Peninsula, no more pressure to North Korea.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a press release or something?
And impeach Trump and try to promote peace in the world.
네, 저희는 이곳 미국에 온 게 미국 내부 문제를 이야기하려고 온 것이 아닙니다. 트럼프의 발언들을 봤을 때 저희 한반도에 살고 있는 한국 국민들은 굉장히 공포에 떨고 있습니다. 트럼프가 평화를 위협하고 제3차 세계대전이 일어날 수 있을 수 있는 그런 망언들을 늘어놓기 때문에 한반도에 살고 있는 한 사람으로서 이 자리에 있는 것입니다.
We have no intention to intervene with political matters in the United States. However, I want to send the message that people in Korea is really scared of all the threats that he's been making to Korean Peninsula.
네, 트럼프는 대통령 취임 이후에 전쟁이 나도 한반도에서 나는 것이고 죽어도 한반도 사람들이 죽는 것이다. 화염과 분노에 직면할 것이다. 북한을 완전 파괴할 것이다 라는 등 여러 가지 막말들을 지금 늘어놓고 있습니다. 트럼프 대통령은 이런 막말들 전혀 우리 한반도 사람들에게는 필요가 없습니다. 전쟁을 부추기고 망언을 계속 이어나간다면 박근혜가 탄핵된 것처럼 트럼프도 탄핵되어야 마땅하다고 생각합니다.
You heard of the threats that President Trump made toward North Korea. He said what's going to happen in Korean Peninsula, people in Korea are going to die. And as if he implied that he's not going to have any damage to the United States. And also, he mentioned fire and fury toward North Korea. And this. So therefore, we are against President Trump, and we, just like South Korean president was impeached for improper conduct, we believe that Trump probably is subject of impeachment.
네. 제 얘기를 잠깐 하려고 하는데요. 저희 아버지와 저의 친형은 한국에서 군인입니다. 그리고 저도 예비군으로 지금 있습니다. 전쟁이 만약 나게 되면은 저희 가족들은 모두 전쟁터에 나갈 수밖에 없고, 그렇게 된다면은 저희 가족들 모두가 죽을 수도 있는 것입니다. 이렇게 위험한 전쟁 절대 나와서는 안 된다고 생각합니다.
I want to share my personal story. My brother is in army. My father is in military. And I am part of the reserve army in Korea. So in case war broke up, we all gonna die. And this is how serious it is.
네, 11월 7일 트럼프가 한국에 온다고 합니다. 한국 국회에서도 발언을 한다고 합니다. 국회에서 어떤 이야기를 할지 굉장히 걱정이 됩니다. 국회에서 정말 이상한 이야기 하려면은 차라리 한국에 오지 말고 그냥 가만히 있었으면 좋겠습니다.
Trump is visiting Korea in November 7th, and he's scheduled to speak in front of Congress in Korea. And I'm really afraid what he's gonna say in Congress. And if he's gonna mess it up, then I hope he doesn't come to Korea to begin with.
네, 오늘 이 집회를 마치고 저는 한국으로 돌아가게 됩니다. 트럼프를 오지 못하게 하기 위해서, 혹여나 오더라도 트럼프 반대에 대한 목소리를 내기 위해서 한국으로 돌아가서 끝까지 대한민국의 평화와, 그리고 트럼프가 탄핵되는 것, 그리고 평화협정 체결까지 이 목소리를 한국에서도 끝까지 낼 수 있도록 하겠습니다. 미국에 계신 여러분들도 함께 계속 목소리 내주시길 부탁드리겠습니다.
After this, I'm going back to Korea. So, and I'm gonna continue fighting on to prevent President Trump to visit South Korea. And even after he comes, we'll fight back his agenda as much as possible. I want you to cheer up and fire up and fight together with us.
네, 한국말로 구호 몇 개 외치겠습니다.
We want to chant in Korean 3 times.
트럼프를 탄핵하라! 평화협정 체결하라! 감사합니다. 땡큐!
Lastly, we made few changes to the song and prepared some dance with it, so I'm gonna show it to you. And it's called Impeach style.
크게. 똑바로 해라.
not every side is peaceful. And sometimes little things can turn into violence on the other hand, which, that's what you want. We're trying to appease everybody, but at the same time we need to work together. Both sides. I have no problem with what you guys are doing.
But just I will read 3 sentences. Don't worry. Okay. This translation about the Japanese address. One. 전쟁 추구 무기 강매 트럼프를 반대한다. Number 2. 대북적대 철회하고 평화협정 체결하라. 동아시아 평화협 사드를 철수하라.
Are you North Korean or South Korean? And although I do not identify along this imposed unnatural divide, I tell them, oh, my family's from South Korea. And then they reassure me, say, oh, okay, South Korea is good, South Korea is our friend, North Korea is our enemy. And I've been thinking, wow, really, like, we're 8 years old. How do you already have an enemy of an entire nation that you probably can't even find on a map? Anyway, fast forward around 10 years, I'm sitting in AP US history class and we're learning about the Cold War, and the Korean War is summed up in one lecture slide. And that'd be great if that meant that the US had no involvement in the Korean War, but that's not the case. It's just not important to them. And it's not important that the US was involved in the brutal divide of my home country. It's not important to them that they killed 1/5 of the population in Korea. And it's not worth mentioning that the US installed Japanese colonists in the South Korean government. And let's just forget the fact that the US is still in Korea with their troops, without our consent. I'm here because I understand that this history is significant, and more importantly, I'm here because I believe in democracy, and not the bullshit democracy that our military government talks about, but real democracy, people's power. And I'm talking the Candlelight Revolution. Ousted the puppet dictator Park Geun-hye from office with millions of people pouring the streets every week. I'm talking the Gwangju Uprising of 1980. That liberated South Koreans from martial law. It's a student-led revolution. That's the power we have if we come together with this understanding of our history and our understanding of our position in this world.